He proposed to me in front of the whole college. But then I saw the live stream and realized it was all a dare. They say a moment can define your entire life, and I believe that when he dropped to one knee in front of the whole college auditorium. Hundreds of students, professors, and even strangers pulled out their phones and began recording. 1,000 lights blinked around me like stars, and my heart, foolish, innocent, trusting, beat so loud I could barely hear the words he said. Skylar Reyes, he grinned, the corners of his eyes crinkling like he meant it. Will you marry me? The world tilted. My mouth dropped open. I could feel my legs tremble under me, hands clutched over my chest as a chorus of gasps and cheers echoed around. This wasn't just a guy. This was Drew Carter, the most desired, talked about, golden boy of our college. He was quarterback of the football team, aced his engineering classes, ran charity drives, and somehow still managed to be humble and effortlessly charming. I'd been dating him for almost a year, but we kept it low-key, his idea, and honestly, I liked the privacy. But this public proposal? It felt like a fairy tale. Like the veil had finally lifted, and he was ready to show the world what we had. I said yes. Of course I did. The crowd went wild. He slipped a silver ring on my finger, not diamond, just a simple, elegant band with a blue stone. Matches your eyes, he whispered, and kissed me like I was the only person in the room. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying it in my mind, the cheers, the lights, the ring. My phone buzzed all night with texts and DMs. OMG Sky, congrats. You guys are goals. Didn't see that coming, but it was so romantic. But then came the tag. A notification from an anonymous account. One I almost didn't click on. At Hidden Truth Live just tagged you in a video. I blinked. What was this? Curiosity won. I tapped the link. It took me to a grainy live stream. The title hit me like a punch. Will Drew actually go through with the dare? $500 if he proposes to Skylar at the talent show. My heart dropped. The video showed Drew with a bunch of his friends, laughing in some dorm room, days before the proposal. They were playing Truth or Dare, a game we were all supposed to be too old for. All right, Drew, said Blake, his loudmouth best friend, grinning at the camera. Dare. Propose to Skylar in front of the whole school. You get $500 if you do it, and it better look real. Drew hesitated, laughed, then shrugged. She'll say yes. She's obsessed with me anyway. They all burst out laughing. One of them slapped his back. Let's go. The camera kept rolling. They planned it, rehearsed it, picked the exact spot and time. And not once, did he look like a guy in love. Just a guy trying to win a bet. I remember sitting there on my bed, ring still on my finger, watching my entire life collapse in slow motion. My cheeks burned. My stomach turned. And worst of all, the video had thousands of views already. Let me go back. I wasn't the kind of girl anyone expected him to date. I wasn't rich. I wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't some fashion influencer with perfect teeth and an even more perfect laugh. I was just Skylar. Quiet. Focused. Maybe too much of a rule follower. My friends called me pure-hearted, like it was a compliment and a curse at the same time. I never believed I was special. Not until Drew. He started talking to me in chemistry lab. I thought it was a mistake at first. He sat next to me, asked for help with an equation, and the next thing I knew, we were sharing notes, grabbing coffee, talking about life and dreams and fears. He told me he liked my brain, my honesty, that I didn't throw myself at him like the others. He said, "You're different, Sky. You make me feel grounded." And God, I believed him. He didn't post me on his socials, said he wanted to keep things private. I respected that. I didn't pressure him. We had our own little bubble, and in that bubble, I felt seen. He took me on late-night drives, snuck me into the football field at midnight. Once, he set up a picnic on the roof of the library just so we could stargaze. How could that be fake? How could a person do all that and still have the cruelty to make it a dare? The next day, I didn't go to class. I didn't eat. I didn't respond to anyone's messages. I watched the video on loop until the laughter sounded like screaming. Until Drew's words, "She'll say yes. She's obsessed with me anyway," echoed in my skull like poison. It was all a game to him. And I was the final punchline. By the third day, it went viral. Memes started popping up. Edits. People mocking me. "When you say yes to a guy who's cashing out." Clips of me crying while he knelt. Comments laughing at my reaction. I was humiliated. Exposed. A joke. And Drew? He didn't even apologize. He texted me once. Just once. "Hey, I didn't think it would blow up like that. Can we talk?" I didn't reply. I couldn't. I wanted to scream. To claw my own skin off. To vanish from the face of the earth. But then, something shifted. Humiliation turned to fury. I trusted him with my heart, my secrets, myself. And he'd use me. No apology, no remorse, just damage control. That's when I made a promise to myself, right there, with swollen eyes and a shattered soul. He was going to regret this. Not just because he hurt me, but because he thought he could do it without consequences. If he thought my silence was weakness, he had no idea what silence could become. I didn't leave my dorm room for 3 days. Not because I was broken, not anymore, but because I was collecting myself. Sharpening the edges. There's something terrifying about pain when it stops making you cry and starts making you calm. The first thing I did was download the live stream. I didn't want to just watch it. I wanted to dissect it. Frame by frame. I wanted to memorize the faces of everyone who laughed. Every smirk. Every whisper. Every clue. And that's when I noticed something I missed before. In the background, just seconds after Drew said, "She'll say yes," a voice chimed in, one I recognized far too well. Harper. My roommate. My best friend. My supposed best friend. She laughed and said, "This is gonna be epic." She won't even see it coming. The room spun again, but this time with rage. Harper had been there that day, backstage, helping with the lighting during the talent show. She hugged me after the proposal, teared up, told me, "He's a keeper." She knew. She knew the entire time. That night, while she was in the shower, I opened her laptop. I'd never done that before. But this wasn't just snooping. This was survival. And sure enough, there it was. A group chat. Labeled Dare or Die. I clicked. My stomach clenched. Drew. Blake. Harper. Kara. Another girl from my dorm. Micah. One of the football team guys. And more. Messages flew by like knives. "Yo, can't believe she actually said yes." Skylar vowed to be Mrs. Dare. "Harper, you're a legend for keeping her clueless." Bet she's planning the wedding already. Drew, tell us how the ring scene felt, bro, lol. You better sleep with one eye open when she finds out. I felt bile rise in my throat. These were people I'd studied with, laughed with, trusted. And they weren't just bystanders, they were participants. I kept scrolling. That's when I found the video. A private one. Uploaded 2 days before the proposal. It showed Drew alone in his car, recording himself. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm gonna do the proposal during the talent show, during that poetry segment. Blake's got the mic timing down. Harper's keeping Skylar busy backstage so she doesn't see me walk in early. We rehearsed the lines. Kara helped pick the ring, got it from a thrift store for $8.99. He laughed. This is going viral for sure. That was it. No affection, no hesitation, no guilt. Just performance. I downloaded the video. Every screenshot. Every chat log. I saved them all. Labeled them, backed them up. But the worst wasn't the betrayal itself. It was realizing why they did it. I met Harper 2 years ago, first week of college. We clicked fast, two introverts trying to find a place. Or so I thought. She always said she admired how put together I was. Called me smart, driven, inspiring. But now that I look back, There were cracks. Jealous glances when I aced exams. Bitter smiles when Drew first started noticing me. She had a crush on him. She admitted that once, before we started dating. I thought we'd moved past it. But some people don't forgive being overlooked. Some people pretend to love you while they sharpen the knife. That weekend, I walked into the cafeteria like a ghost. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just watched. Observed. Drew was sitting at the center table with his friends. Laughing. Back to normal. Like nothing happened. Like he hadn't shattered a person for fun. He saw me. For a second, his expression flickered. A pause. But then he smiled, that same practice smile, and waved me over. As if I was still his. As if I hadn't watched every lie, every joke, every replay. I didn't move. I just turned around and walked out. Because when I hit back, I wasn't going to throw a punch. I was going to burn the ground beneath their feet. That night, Harper walked in and acted normal. She dropped her bag, kicked off her boots, and asked, "Want to order Thai?" I stared at her. She tilted her head. "What?" I smiled. "Cold." "Did it taste good?" She blinked. "What?" "The betrayal." I stood up, phone in hand. "Was it worth it?" Her face went pale. Instantly. Like someone had punched her through the soul. Sky, I played the audio. The video. Everything. She tried to talk. To explain. To spin it. But I didn't need her excuses. "I kept your secrets," I said. "I defended you. I cried with you. And you helped them humiliate me. I didn't mean for it to go that far. You stood there and watched them laugh." Her voice cracked. "It was just a joke." I laughed. Cold, sharp, almost inhuman. "No, this was a joke." I held up her laptop, the one I had cloned the hard drive from. "And now you're going to see what it feels like when everything is taken from you." I didn't release anything. Not yet. Revenge isn't rage. It's patience. Strategy. Precision. Over the next 2 weeks, I collected more. I watched how they moved. Who said what? Where the weak points were. Kara was flunking a class. I knew that she tried to bribe. Micah was cheating on his girlfriend. I had screenshots. Blake had plagiarized 3 assignments. The evidence was in a shared Google Drive. And Drew? He was applying for internships. Prestigious ones. Companies that did deep background checks. One of them even had a strict ethics code about bullying and public harassment. They were all vulnerable. And I held every string. One wrong move, one whisper, and their lives would implode. But I wasn't done yet. Because this wasn't just about taking revenge. It was about making them see me, not as the girl who got humiliated, but as the girl who could destroy them with a smile. And never raise her voice. I didn't lash out. I didn't expose them. Not yet. Instead, I smiled. Because silence is terrifying when you know someone has a reason to scream but doesn't. And I wanted every single one of them to wonder when the strike would come. Drew started texting me more. "I miss you. Can we talk? You've been quiet. I don't like it. Sky, just call me." Each message dripped with unease. Guilt disguised as affection. Panic masked as care. But I said nothing. Instead, I posted a picture on my story, one of the old proposal photos, still from a student video. But I added a caption. "It's cute how some people think they got away with it." No tag. No names. But it spread like gasoline on dry grass. Suddenly, everyone was speculating. I got anonymous messages. People asking if the Dare rumor was true. Others pretending to care just to dig for details. And some who had never spoken to me before, told me their own stories. Turns out, I wasn't Drew's first Dare. He had done similar things before. Private ones. Smaller. Girls who never spoke up because the pain was easier to swallow in silence. But I wasn't swallowing anything. I started small. Micah's girlfriend? I sent her the screenshots from his secret account, the one he used to DM juniors. She dumped him in the middle of the quad. Slapped him. The video made it to TikTok. Kara? I emailed the anonymously, attached the bribery messages. She got reported. Academic probation. Blake? I forwarded his plagiarized work to his department head. 3 days later, I saw him storming out of a meeting, red-faced and sweating. Each domino fell with a whisper, and none of them even suspected me. But Drew was a different beast. He was still posting smiling pictures, still acting like the world loved him, still playing the golden boy. But his eyes looked tired now. There were bags under them. He knew I hadn't moved on, and the silence was killing him. The internship Drew wanted most was with a company called Larkin Tech, ultra-selective, hyper-strict ethics board. One black mark, and you were out. So I sent them a package. No name, just the truth. A printed transcript of the chat logs, the dare video, the live stream, screenshots of comments making fun of me, and a personal statement signed only as the girl who was the dare. 1 week later, I heard from a friend inside the career office. Drew didn't get the internship. He didn't even make it to the interview stage. Apparently, they told the college they no longer wanted to be associated with candidates involved in viral harassment cases. Boom. Still, I hadn't touched the core yet. I hadn't touched Harper. And I hadn't made Drew see me, really see me, since that day in the cafeteria. That was coming. Harper tried to act like everything was normal. After I confronted her that night, she tiptoed around me like I was a ticking bomb. She cleaned the room obsessively, cooked extra, offered to do my laundry. Guilt is funny like that. It makes cowards out of confident people. Then one night, I left my laptop open on purpose. Pretended I had a message open from a lawyer. Defamation. Public stunt, multiple videos as evidence. Looking into legal action against all parties involved. I watched from the corner as Harper read it. Her eyes widened, her hand shook. The next morning, she was gone. Moved out. No explanation. But I found her note, crumpled and shoved under my pillow. I know I messed up. I didn't think it would go that far. I'm sorry. Please. Don't ruin my life. Please. I burned it. Some apologies are just last-ditch attempts to save themselves. Not redemption. Just self-preservation. Then came the school gala. Annual. Fancy. Hosted by the dean. And Drew was hosting one of the segments. Of course he was. Golden boy to the end. I showed up in red. Not the kind of red that screams for attention, the kind that makes people stop breathing. Hair done. Makeup perfect. The ring he gave me? Still on my finger, but worn on a chain now, like a trophy from a fallen enemy. I could feel eyes on me the moment I stepped into the hall. The crowd parted like water. Girls stared. Guys swallowed hard. And Drew? Oh, Drew froze. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. But I smiled. Sweet. Dangerous. Like a girl who knows she's holding the match and the gasoline. During the dinner, someone asked me if the proposal was real. I didn't answer. Just tilted my head. Define real. Laughter. Nervous chuckles. I turned to Drew, who sat stiff beside his new co-host. You should ask him, I said, voice like velvet wrapped around razors. He wrote the script. He didn't speak. He couldn't. After the gala, I slipped an envelope into his coat pocket. Inside, a flash drive. Labeled, Every Lie You Told. I never got to see his face when he watched it. But I imagine it looked a lot like mine did the night I saw the stream. That was my version of the proposal. No crowd. No ring. No kneeling. Just a gift he didn't deserve. People say I changed after that. I guess I did. Not louder. Not colder. Just awake. Because once you've seen how easily people turn you into a joke, you stop playing nice. And you stop warning them before you strike. Revenge isn't about destruction. It's about recognition. About turning the mirror so they finally see what they've become. And Drew Carter, the golden boy, the charmer, The fake prince in every girl's fantasy was about to see himself without the mask. The gala had been my warning shot, but now it was time for the real game. I waited a week. Let the silence settle. Let the rumors multiply. Let people wonder what the flash drive in Drew's pocket contained. I knew he watched it. He stopped smiling in hallways. Stopped attending football practice. He even skipped 3 classes, unheard of for someone who used to sit front row like a poster boy for ambition. Word got around fast. His friends? Losing opportunities. His fake charm? Not landing anymore. But still, he hadn't broken. Not completely. Not yet. So I crafted the final blow. The ultimate humiliation. And I made sure it came from inside the walls he built. I reached out to Zoe. She was a sophomore in media studies, and more importantly, she was the social media coordinator for the school. I knew her type: bright, idealistic, eager to expose injustice. And she hated Drew. He ghosted her 2 years ago after leading her on. She never got over it. I didn't even have to lie. Just gave her the facts. The footage. The chat logs. The group thread. Harper's messages. She stared at the screen, mouth open. "You're not serious. This is real?" "All of it," I said. "And he's never faced a single consequence." She nodded. Until now. The school was preparing for a live student spotlight, a broadcasted assembly featuring leaders, innovators, and changemakers. Drew had been selected to give the keynote. Of course, the school didn't know yet. They still believed the facade. So Zoe helped me slip in a special segment. It was subtle, listed on the event agenda as a moment of reflection, what we tolerate. 5 minutes. Just 5. Enough to ruin a legacy. The night before the assembly, I got a message. Not from Drew. Not from Harper. From his mother. "Skylar, I don't know what happened. He won't tell me anything. He's been locked in his room for days. Whatever's going on, please, talk to him. He's not okay." I read it 4 times. Then deleted it. Because I wasn't okay either. And nobody asked me back then. The auditorium was packed. Cameras rolling. Students, faculty, even sponsors in the audience. Drew stood center stage in a tailored suit, adjusting the mic, hands visibly shaking. He was halfway through his speech, talking about integrity, leadership, community, when Zoe switched the stream. Without warning, the screen behind him lit up. It started simple. A black background, then white text appeared. "This is what a dare looks like." Then, video. The live stream. The original footage. Blake's voice. Laughter. Drew's smirk. The rehearsed lines. Harper's giggles. Then the group chat messages. One after another. On the big screen. Broadcasted live. You could hear the collective inhale. A gasp. Someone dropped a drink. A chair scraped back. Drew froze. Completely. Staring at the screen like it was a coffin. He turned to the crowd, mouth open, but no words came out. Then came the final frame. She said yes to love. He said yes to $500. Silence. Then, whispers. Then, phones coming out. Then, chaos. I walked out before it ended. Before the dean pulled the plug on the stream. Before Drew stumbled off the stage. Before the sponsors walked out. Before the apology statements started rolling in. I didn't need to see the end. Because I was the end. By that night, it was everywhere. The video had been recorded. Clipped. Shared. A trending hashtag in the student sphere. Hash not just Adari. Hash Skylar deserve better. Hash Drew exposed. It spread like wildfire. People came out. Spoke up. Other girls. Other classmates. Even professors started asking questions about favoritism, cover-ups, manipulation. The school had no choice but to act. Drew was suspended from all public student leadership positions. His internship offers vanished. His football scholarship got reviewed. And worst of all, the golden boy glow dimmed. He was just a name now. A name attached to betrayal. Harper left campus the next week. No announcement. No goodbye. I saw her once in the parking lot loading her car, eyes puffy. She didn't speak. Neither did I. What was there to say? We both knew how this story ended. A few nights later, I found a letter slipped under my door. No name. Just handwriting I recognized. Drew, I watched the full stream 4 times. The one you played at the assembly. I guess I never saw myself the way others did. I hurt you. I hurt others. For laughs. For approval. For attention. I don't deserve to ask anything of you, but if nothing else, I want to say, you were the only real thing I ever had. And I destroyed it. I'm sorry. I read it. Twice. Then I lit a match. And watched it burn in the sink. Some people say sorry when the world forces them to. Not because they mean it, but because the consequences finally reach them. That's not redemption. That's fear. Me? I didn't need an apology. I didn't want closure. I wanted clarity. And I had it now. They saw me as soft, as forgettable, as a side character in their spotlight. But I became the main event. I became the voice they couldn't silence. The image they couldn't erase. And I did it all without yelling. Without threats. Without raising my hand. Just the truth. Louder than anything else in the room. Weeks passed. The dust began to settle. The attention shifted, as it always does, to newer scandals, newer headlines, newer people to talk about. But not for me. For me, things didn't go back to normal. Because there was no normal after what happened. Only a new version of myself I was still getting used to. I started walking through campus without keeping my head down. People didn't laugh anymore. They looked. Some with awe, some with fear. A few even with respect. And a few, I knew, were quietly grateful, the ones who never dared speak but watched someone else finally say what needed to be said. Professors commended me privately. One offered to write me a letter for grad school. Another invited me to join a student leadership panel on digital harassment and manipulation. It was almost poetic. The girl who was once a punchline had become the voice others listened to. But even as the world seemed to turn in my favor, something kept tugging at me. A whisper in the back of my mind. A feeling I couldn't explain. Like a page still unturned. Like a shadow just out of sight. One evening, I went to the library to return some books. As I passed by the media studies lab, I saw Zoe, the girl who helped me get the footage on air, standing with another guy from her department. They didn't see me, and I almost didn't stop. Until I heard her say one sentence that made my blood run cold. Honestly, I didn't think she'd actually go through with it. She was supposed to just back out after we leaked the video. My breath caught. The guy laughed. Yeah, well, you gave her the fire she needed. And now she's practically a campus icon. Kind of crazy. I mean, she deserved to know. But the way she took over, that wasn't the plan. Still, worked out for everyone, right? Except Drew. They both laughed. I stood there, frozen, notebook clutched in my hands like a shield. What did they mean? That wasn't the plan. What plan? I walked away before they noticed me. But that night, I couldn't sleep. So I dug deeper. And what I found shattered everything. Zoe hadn't just helped me. She had the footage before I ever contacted her. She had been following the DARE group for weeks, part of an underground student project on digital humiliation culture. And Harper? She wasn't just a passive participant. She had sent the footage to Zoe. Before I found it on her laptop. Before I confronted her. Before anything went viral. She set it up. She leaked it. Then played dumb. Then fled. The more I uncovered, the more the pieces fell into place. Harper didn't betray me because she was jealous. She betrayed me because she knew I was going to break. And she wanted to be the one to set the fire, not get caught in it. By giving Zoe the video, she thought she could control the narrative. Be the quiet whistleblower, protect herself. But I didn't follow the plan. I didn't crawl into silence. I used the fire, took the narrative and made it mine. And Zoe? She never expected I'd be strategic. She thought I'd be another wrecked girl grateful for scraps of justice. She underestimated me too. Just like Drew. Just like all of them. I confronted Zoe. Cornered her outside the lab building. She smiled too sweet. Skylar. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I held up my phone. Press play. Her voice. She was supposed to just back out after we leaked the video. The color drained from her face. It wasn't like that. You used me, I said coldly. You wanted a face for your project. Not justice. Just drama. It wasn't personal. No, that's what makes it worse. She tried to spin it. But I didn't care. Because I had the recording. And I had learned something crucial. People don't care who they hurt until it comes back to them. I walked away again, no threat, no promise, just silence. By the next week, the recording leaked anonymously. Her project got pulled. She lost access to the media room. Zoe, like Drew, vanished from the spotlight. But the part that hurt the most? Harper. She was supposed to be my best friend. Through all of it, even the proposal, even the group chat, I believed some part of her had hesitated. I believed she regretted it. But she engineered the whole leak, calculated the damage, played both sides. She was never trying to protect me. She was trying to own my story. And when she couldn't, when I became more than a victim, she ran. I stared at the ring again one night, still hanging from the same chain. It didn't hurt anymore. Not the way it used to. Because now, it wasn't just a symbol of betrayal. It was a reminder that the world doesn't fall apart all at once. It unravels thread by thread, betrayal by betrayal, until you're holding the last string and deciding whether to tie it back together or strangle someone with it. People still ask me how I survived, how I came out stronger. They think I'm brave, that I found my power. But the truth? I didn't find power. I just stopped handing it over. And I learned the most dangerous people aren't the loudest. They're the ones who smile while they plan your downfall. The ones who whisper comfort while hiding knives. But now, when people whisper about me, it's not pity anymore. It's fear. Because the girl who was the dare, she turned the game on them all. And I was the only one left standing.